Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we are going to have our discussion on the transit of Saturn or the ongoing transit of Saturn in the Dhanishta Nakshatra. So friends, as you know this thing that, I recently uploaded a video on the upcoming transit of Saturn in the Aquarius sign on April 29th. I kind of gave a sneak peek of that upcoming transit. So when I just started working on this, video, I was initially thinking about just making a customized video, like customized results for all the ascendants for this transit of Saturn in the Aquarius sign. But then I realized that, there is still a lot which needs to be studied before straight away jumping to the Saturn's transit to the Aquarius sign. Because when we talk about Saturn's transit perspective specifically to the Aquarius, so before entering the Aquarius sign, the common loop, the connecting loop between the Capricorn and the Aquarius is the Dhanishta Nakshatra. And trust me friends, this whole year Saturn is going to be transiting in the Dhanishta Nakshatra only. So that also becomes very important for you guys to first understand the way Saturn manifests results in the Dhanishta Nakshatra. And over and above that friends, because the catch over here is that Dhanishta is the nakshatra which is being ruled by the arch enemy of the planet Saturn, which is the planet Mars. And I always say this thing that whenever it comes down to choosing a path, if life offers you two options, one is the path of Saturn, another is the path of Mars, so always pursue and opt for the path of the Saturn only, because that is the path which is going to connect you with righteousness and with your destiny. So now friends, let's first try to understand a little bit about the Dhanishta, and then we will jump to this specific ongoing transit and the upcoming transit. So friends, when we talk about Dhanishta, definitely there is no doubt that out of all the nakshatra, no nakshatra is equivalent to the intensity of Dhanishta, which has the power to offer, bestow abundance, fame, prosperity, wealth. The name in itself, Dhanishta in itself, means too much abundance of wealth and the riches. So now friends, when we talk about the Dhanishta innate qualities, it is a nakshatra which is being ruled by the Vasus. It is ruled by the planet Mars, but the gods which preside over this nakshatra are the Vasu, 8 Vasu, which also represents different manifestation or the power or embodiment of the nature. Now friends, when we talk about the qualities of the Dhanishta, so there is a lot of emphasis which goes over here. Now you could attribute that to the Vasu, or you could also attribute that to the ruler planet Mars, which has everything to do with the work, with the manifestation of the energy. See, the nakshatra previous to it and even after it, like after the Dhanishta, it's going to be the Sadbhisha, and before the Dhanishta, it's the qualities of the Shravana, which has everything to do with the Shravan has a lot to do with the hearing the wisdom and the knowledge. But when we talk about the practical usage of that is always attributed to the qualities and the energies of the Dhanishta. And you must be knowing this fact if you have an idea about the nakshatras and their distinctive qualities, that there has been a lot of notion that the energy of Dhanishta is not considered as very auspicious or harmonious for matrimonial harmony. See, I will give you a short version of the Vedic lore on this. So one mythological version or story of that. So just because the story is connected with the ruling devatas, the gods. So what happened? The 8 Vasus, once they were enjoying and exploring their time on the earth, from the heaven onto the earth with their wives. So the wife of the sky Vasu, she saw a wandering cow, and she just liked her, and she insisted her husband that I want this cow. So they took the cow with them to the heavens. Later on, actually that cow belonged to a very elevated, very spiritually strong, powerful sage, who was the sage Vasishtha. So the moment sage Vasishtha was not able to find his cow, and from his divine powers, when he found out the whereabout of his cows, he got very angry and he cursed all the 8 Vasus that you will be born on the earth sometime, and you have to go through the suffering of being born on the earth, and out of all of you, it's the sky Vasu who has to bear his time on the earth for a long time. So obviously they later on came to earth and asked for the forgiveness, and later on the sage also granted them the forgiveness, but as the curse has been put on, so you have to go through that. So later on what happened, the story goes like this, that the goddess Ganga, the western listener and audience, they pronounce that as the Ganjas. So they were born as the children of the goddess Ganga, and what she used to do is that, because she knew that they are the children being born from her womb are the gods only, so in order to liberate them, free them of the curse, the moment she is going to be blessed with the first child, she will take that newborn baby and she will take it to the Gangas, and she will drown it over there. So the husband, who was not that spiritually elevated, he was not able to figure out what's happening, so he kept on seeing all of his 7 children being drowned in the waters of the Ganga. But at the time when the 8th Vasu was born, he just could not control himself, and he intervened, and that child became the Bhishma, like whom we know from the Mahabharata. So that is the story goes, and we all know that when we talk about the strong determination and the vow and the pledge and celibacy which has been attributed to the Bhishma. So that is how, friends, you can see the resonance or the point which I am trying to over here, which is that when we talk about the transit of Saturn in the Dhanishta, you can also relate it with the energy, intensity and the power of the Bhishma. So see, definitely, friends, Dhanishta has everything to do with the fame prospects, but along with that, because of Saturn being transiting over here, you have to take that approach and attitude of being very serviceful as well, because many times what happens is that, friends, Dhanishta has everything to do with the artistic and the creative talents as well. The transit of Saturn over the Dhanishta might also start giving you these self-doubts, where you are doubting yourself, you are being your own critic, and with due hindsight, you're not able to make yourself inspired and get that kind of drive and motivation which you need. So these all are the qualities when Saturn transits in the Dhanishta Nakshatra, which comes on the surface. But friends, that doesn't mean that this nakshatra doesn't hold the power to give you good results. Like the way I mentioned this thing, that each nakshatra has got a power of its own. The power of the Dhanishta Nakshatra is the power of the Khayapatri Shakti, which means the power to give abundance and fame. And I can assure you of this thing, because when we talk about the legendary people and great people, they are always born out of the misery only. When the world is suffering, people are going through hue and cry, and there rises one person who inspires hope in the face of all these mayhem. So those are the qualities or the results which we can see in the global turn of events as well. Like whatsoever is happening right now in the globe, whether you talk about the COVID, whether you talk about ongoing invasion which has divided world in 2 groups. So I can assure you of this thing, that because of Saturn being transiting in the Dhanishta, world respected and renowned leaders and people and the figure of respect and inspiration definitely is going to come out during this year because of the transit of Saturn in the Dhanishta Nakshatra. Now, friends, when we talk about from the perspective of the caution, so what you have to remain cautious about, so that is very obvious, friends, because whenever we talk about from the Dhanishta energies, which has everything to do with the Martian qualities, all the pursuit, all the desires, aspirations and work and the endeavors will definitely be colored with the Martian qualities, where there is going to be impulse, where there is going to be little bit of the stubbornness as well, where there is going to be aggression as well. That is a different thing, that the repercussion or the result of that will also manifest. Saturn never releases you from the clutches of your karma, but the concern over here is that, let's say for example, if you are in that stage of your life, you are going through any sort of litigation or court related trouble, or if in your natal chart the yogas are not very promising, you are not running a very auspicious time, or let's say for example your own actions are very unethical in the society, unlawful in the society. So in those kind of scenarios, friends, you have to remain very cautious, you have to remain very careful. And friends, if you want to understand it from the timeline perspective, so definitely, friends, because right now till the time Saturn is transiting in the Capricorn sign, like here I'm not talking about only the nakshatra, from the zodiac sign perspective as well. So till the time Saturn is in the Capricorn, so the zodiac signs of Sagittarius, Capricorn and Aquarius natives are like right now going through the Saturn's Sade Sati, 7.5 years of the testing phase, when Saturn transit 12th house from your moon, over your moon, and the second house from the moon. So the moment Saturn is going to enter the sign of Aquarius for a short term this year, so definitely the Sagittarians will be free from the clutches of the Sade Sati, and the Capricorn, Aquarius and the Pisces native will start that. But over and above that, friends, if you have to get deeper into it, because you been following astrology in a very precise way, so when we talk about the transit of Saturn which is taking place in the Dhanishta Nakshatra, so the 25th nakshatra, which is known as the Manasa Nakshatra, which is, if you will check the sequence, which is coming out to be the energies of the Purvashadha. So Purvashadha natives have to remain very cautious. Also friends, like there are specific timelines even from the nakshatra charan perspective as well. So because currently Saturn is transiting the within the Dhanishta Nakshatra, it's in the second pada, which is in sync with the energies of the Virgo Navamsa, which can still be considered as very good for working hard. If your agenda, your mantra, your principle in life is of being dutiful, of service to others, working very hard with honesty, with complete diligence, so definitely Saturn can manifest good results as well. Friends, try to understand this thing. The energy of Saturn's transit in the Dhanishta can be seen as the energy of greatness, of attainment of power and authority as well. There is no denying to that out of all the planets, it's the Saturn only which holds the power to give the top positions, top power, and out of all the nakshatra, it's the energy of Dhanishta only which can generate these kind of results. It all comes down to the way you are putting in your efforts. And now friends, like the way I was telling it to you, so like on April 29th, once Saturn is going to enter the third pada of the Dhanishta Nakshatra, so that is going to be time if your important planets are placed in these degrees, in these padas. Specifically if your moon is placed over there, then you have to remain little bit cautious. So whether it's your Saturn Sade Sati, if you are coming in the purview of that, or whether it's your Manasa Nakshatra where your moon is placed in, or whether from the degree perspective, like on April 29th, Saturn will enter the third pada of the Dhanishta Nakshatra, which is equivalent to the Libra Navamsa energy, and on 5th June Saturn will turn retrograde, and finally on 12th July it will enter back the Capricorn. So the thing over here is that friends, whether we talk about when the planet is about to turn retrograde, when it turned stationary, or whether it's your Manasa Nakshatra, whether the pada of your moon nakshatra, if it is of the Dhanishta's third pada, then you have to remain a little bit cautious. But again friends, I'll say the same thing. I have been reading and hearing a lot where people have been rooting a lot on the negative side of this transit only because of the ongoing war and so many of the situations and the earthquakes which are coming recently, which also hit Japan as well, and I guess Taiwan as well. So everyone has been rooting on that Saturn being in the Dhanishta is only a significator and contributor for all the miseries, which is not true. It all comes down to your own nature of deeds and with how much authenticity and with how much good intentions you are working hard and in the right direction. So that is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs on this video. Definitely I'm following step by step this movement of Saturn, whether from the nakshatra perspective, whether nakshatra's charan perspective, or whether Saturn's final entry in the Aquarius sign. So one thing friends, as a giveaway of this ongoing transit of Saturn in the Dhanishta is this ongoing transit holds strong potential of giving you power, giving you authority, giving you direction, giving you success. Second thing is that just because of the Martian energy, you have to remain very cautious, very careful for not going haywire with the release of your energy, whether it's about engaging, indulging in unlawful activity, providing harm to others, getting into fights with people, or if you're already going through litigations and law related problems, then in specific those cases you have to remain little bit cautious. And when we talk about, friends, from remedial perspective, so I would say that if you are falling prey to the vulnerability of the court cases and delays and hassles, worship of Lord Hanuman can be seen as the panacea or the best remedy to appease or tackle the energy of this ongoing combination or alignment which has taken place. So worship of Lord Hanuman specifically on the Tuesdays and Saturdays, whether it's about reciting Hanuman Chalisa or Sundarkand, like I do Hanumanji Sundarkand every day. So you have to take out time for these kind of religious practices. Being of duty, being of service to other people also becomes very important when Saturn is transiting the Dhanishta Nakshatra. Do not be in this mode of doubting yourself, doubting your capabilities, doubting that whether you are on the right path or not. And lastly, friends, I would also say that when we talk about the Aquarius energy specific, because somehow Dhanishta share its boundary both in the Capricorn and the Aquarius, but a section of it falls in the Aquarius. And when we talk about the energies of the Saturn, and when we talk about anything to do with the Aquarius sign, it has everything to do with the Lord Shiva. So like the way say, Bhavi Meti Sakhi Tripurari, it's the Lord Shiva only who holds this key to change your destiny. So even the worship of Lord Shiva or the recitation of the Mahamrityunjay Jap can be seen as a good remedy of tackling up or handling or dealing with the energies of this ongoing transit of Saturn in the Dhanishta Nakshatra. So that is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this upcoming transit or ongoing transit. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. धन्यवाद.